watching Fox 13's Good Day Tampa Bay.
Yeah, mounting debt, it equates to mounting troubles. Up next, an attorney tells us what not to do when it comes to our credit card debt and how to get help. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You know, credit card debt is at an all-time high, and we've told you before, Floridians are carrying a lot of that debt. And for some, they're having a very hard time keeping up with their payments. So what happens if you don't pay? Attorney James Giardina was with us again to talk about that. Good to see you.
Thanks to see you, Russell.
I guess they're going to let us work together again.
All right, excellent.
Last segment
we make a good
so
team.
now we're good. First of all, we should tell people, Ask a Lawyer here till 9:30. Thank you again for taking the calls. This is what you do. This is your line of work, the credit card debt.
Oh yeah, credit cards. I've been doing credit card law for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I was even a bill collector before law school. So going on 20 years working with credit card laws right now.
When people get in trouble, a lot of them say, well, I'll just file for bankruptcy, and that is not your best advice.
No, I'll tell you, I advise my clients, do not file for bankruptcy. In fact, maybe 1% of the people that I talk to, bankruptcy is a good option for. But for most people, bankruptcy is not the way to go.
What is the way to go if you're in trouble? If you're in trouble.
All right, so if you legitimately cannot pay your bills, right? If you have a credit card that you can't pay, right? You work, and at the end of your 40-hour week, there's just not enough money. You should contact the credit card company. And
on your own?
Sure, let them know that, right? Or you can talk to an attorney, right? And some attorneys will do it for free, right? So most of our work is on contingency. So I write a lot of free letters for people, a lot of pro bono letters for people, and hopefully that works. And if it works, then that's great. It was pro bono. It was my pleasure to write the letter.
What are you asking for in that letter?
I'm asking for a reduction of the interest rate, a reduction of the monthly payment, maybe even to freeze the interest rate, sometimes even to forgive the debt. I had a lady yesterday. She was about 70 years old, and her family had passed away. She is on a fixed income, and she had been living off of credit cards for the last 2 years. No hope of paying them off. And we asked the credit card company to forgive them entirely. And who knows? Letters just went out. We'll see.
I mean, does that happen?
Oh sure, oh sure. But then when it doesn't happen, that's when the fun stuff happens, right? When it doesn't happen, there's a list of laws, Russell, that say all the things that bill collectors and banks can and cannot do. There's a Florida law and there's a federal law. If the banks or bill collectors violate this law, they've got to pay damages to the consumer. Plus, they've got to pay the attorney by the hour, so consumers get essentially a free attorney. Now, one of the things that they're not allowed to do is contact you once you've told them not to contact you. So if you can't pay your bills and you tell the bank or the bill collector, I cannot pay this bill, please work with me, and they don't work with me, then you tell them, please do not contact me again. And once a bill collector gets a letter that says do not contact me again, that's it. They're not allowed to. And if they do, they're breaking a federal law.
Even if you still owe that money?
Yeah, even if you still owe the money.
But are you required, after you go through all of that, are you still required to keep paying?
Well, when you say required,
I mean, are you expected?
If you can't pay, how can you be? You can't pay. Now in the state of Florida, if you have no money, right? So let's say that you don't pay in a credit card company. There's only so many things they could do. They could call you, they could send you letters, and they can ding your credit. And one other thing they can do is they can take you to court.
Okay.
Now, if they take you to court and you lose, at that point they'll get a judgment against you. And the judgment, lien, levy, and garnishment are the ways that a debt collector can sort of enforce their judgment. But in the state of Florida, you can't put a lien on somebody's primary residence, right? Okay. So if you only have one home and you live in it, doesn't matter if you owe the credit card debt. You can't be forced to pay. That house can't go on a foreclosure sale. In the state of Florida, you can't garnish the wages of a head of household. You can't garnish Social Security. You can't garnish pensions. So, many clients not paying is a strategy that they want to go with, and it depends on the client, right? It depends on the consumer and their individual situation. But no, if you can't pay, you don't have to pay.
He's here till 9:30. There may be a lot more questions you want to ask about this before you take out on your own.
Please, call in.
All our lawyers are here at 9:30. The number's at the bottom of the screen. Great advice this morning.
Hey, thanks, man.
I'm glad you're here.
Pleasure was mine.
Appreciate it very much. Hey, Jen.